Hello, 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 and welcome to my humble little corner of the internet. My name is Owlbabe. I am incredibly grateful for you to click on this video and witness the start of my YouTube journey. I'm an incredibly awkward person. I'm very uncomfortable at the moment, but I hope that my confidence grows over time while I experiment and create really interesting content. So I have some tea here. Bring it over. It's just a standard English breakfast tea with a comedically tiny piece of lemon. Let me take a sip and we'll begin the video. And let me bring over what you've all came here for. This is my 2019-2020 sketchbook. It's a moleskin sketchbook that was graciously gifted to me by a really wonderful teacher of mine way back in high school, in my senior year of high school. And I've never really touched it until after a month I got it, and I wanted this to be an exclusively pencil and graphite sketchbook. I believe that limitations often expand my creativity. Anyways, what are we waiting for? Let's begin. As you can see, I started this sketchbook on May 2019 and I finished it just recently in October 2020. I thought to participate in Mermaid for the first time, and I created my own custom prompt list to follow, and the first one was a koi fish. And I'm pretty proud of this drawing. It's beautiful, I love the line work, so I went right ahead to the next prompt, which was an ultramarine crystal. And I immediately lost every bit of confidence that I had. I struggled with making my drawings loose and confident, and so at that moment I decided to set a goal to practice growing my confidence in sketching, because I often stressed myself out in creating a perfect final product, when really I wanted to be more relaxed. So I started with some head studies, some shape studies, and during the process of practicing this, I suddenly got very inspired and created a secret, mysterious OC. I won't talk about him now. I'll get back to him later because he is quite important, and you'll see why. Moving on, and speaking of OCs, here's my beloved OC, Amihan. She is a Filipino pirate who lives somewhere between the 17th and 18th century, and I love her to bits. I'm not too sure what's YouTube's policy for nudity, but I'll keep these drawings in here because they were important for my improvement. Practicing figures and loose general shapes, especially like that drawing over there, they really helped me kind of see the style that I was trying to achieve. Here are some sword studies and a sketch for Amihan that I turned digital, which I wanted to try a style that was digital on top of a sketchbook. I thought it was pretty cool. And here is a keris, which is an Indonesian dagger, which is a weapon that I'd imagine she'd use, and I particularly like studying historical artifacts and weaponry because they give me inspiration, and they're the type of fantasy that I particularly enjoy. These here are Spanish cup-hilt rapiers, which is another piece of weaponry that I think Amihan would utilize. This may come as a surprise to you, but I am alarmingly obsessed with owls. This owl sketch in the top left corner is a spoiler alert that I do improve in this sketchbook, and you will see what this owl sketch referenced to later on in the tour. All of these owls are inspired by Guardians of Ga'Hoole and its movie Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole, and they have been taken from the official movie art book. I especially love this little owl in the corner here. One of my goals was to get better at drawing owls, and I certainly did, which is very exciting and something to look forward to in this tour. And they're just really beautiful creatures. You will definitely see more of them later on. This spread is much more barren because I just started college and I was right in the middle of it. On the left here is a character named Dorian from the book The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. And on the right here is an OC that I never got to fully flesh out. Her name is Llama, and she is a forest spirit, and I'd imagine that she would have plants growing out of her hair and such. I thought it was a cool concept, and maybe I'll come back to her later. Now here is a special OC that was made by Emma Creatures. His name is Salazar, and he is a character in the Harry Potter universe. I particularly like this pose that I made of him when I was practicing sketches. Moving on, do you recall when I mentioned about a top secret mysterious OC that I created at the beginning of the Sketchbook Tour? Well, here he is. This is Venice, and he is what I imagine to be the main protagonist for Cyberpunk 2077. For about a year now, I have spent all of this time fleshing out his characteristics and especially his physical appearance. I've just spent so much time on him. I cannot wait for this video game to come out. I think the drawing that perfectly captures his essence is this little side profile drawing at the bottom here. I will definitely digitize this in the future and make it a sticker. Maybe this could be a future video for this YouTube channel. This spread here is a bit funky. On the left, I was practicing doodles for BLM commissions to support the BLM movement. And on the right here, I was getting incredibly tired of graphite. So I went back to my roots. When I first learned traditional animation in a high school class, we were taught to use red and blue pencils and to exclusively use graphite for lining out details. I went back with a blue pencil and oh my goodness, I completely forgot how amazing and ambiguous this pencil can be because you can use it not only to define features, but you can use it to shade values and it doesn't smear at all. So you can definitely guess that I went full out with this blue pencil. I started to design facial structures and to really define Venice's facial features, and you can just see the exponential increase of quality in my sketches, and the confidence started to just spill out, especially with this drawing on the right where he has dreads tied up in a bun. I plan to digitize these in the future. I am incredibly proud of these particular drawings. Now, if you're from my Instagram, I am pretty sure you can recognize this special OC. This is Illusion. He is a Vile Sona, which is a Sona from the Carmen Sandiego reboot, and he is my pride and joy. I think he is probably one of my most favorite OCs that I've ever created. Oftentimes, I look into Pinterest and I find outfit inspirations, and because Illusion is that type of person to be very fashionable, I would always put him in these particular outfits. This is him in his original outfit for what I would see in the show, and this is him in some kind of assassin's outfit for if he lived maybe in the 18th or 19th century. I love inserting him into different alternative universes. Continuing on with my practice with a blue pencil, I decided to tackle something that I personally struggled with, and I'm pretty sure plenty of other people have as well, and they are hands. I particularly really like blue pencils are able to offer this difference that graphite pencils can't, and it's to be able to show values because blue is a more opaque color than graphite. I like these two hands that I made. I'm very proud of them. I tried to incorporate graphite by doing some stub blending, and I'm not a fan of them, but I like this one star hand that I created. So of course, I decided to incorporate the star design for my fabulous boy Illusion here. On the side here is a drawing challenge that I never got to finish, hosted by Niku30 on Instagram. Please check them out, they're one of my dearest friends. Right then, welcome to the portion of the Sketchbook Tour when I got in a very deep hyperfixation with Beetlejuice and every single piece of media that incorporates Beetlejuice, such as the movie, the musical, and the cartoon. I made sticky notes that I hung on top of my desktop monitor to keep me motivated while I worked, and inspired by many multiple artists, I tried to create my own rendition of Mr. Juice himself. This is a Lydia Dietz design that nods more to the Beetlejuice cartoon, hence the hair and the variations of outfits that she had in the show. I also wanted to draw Lydia in various cute and casual outfits that I think would look very good on her, and this Beetlejuice design here is inspired by Jeanette Arroyo's original Beetlejuice design. Jeanette is one of the most inspiring artists to me, and I'm constantly enamored by their artwork, so please check her out. Continuing on with the Beetlejuice marathon, I actually digitized the study of the Maitland's house and tried to combine both the musical, the movies, and the cartoon elements together. And here on the right is just Sandy, being a sandworm. I have nothing to show here, but I just wanted to say that alien-like weird plants really give me great inspiration, just like my carrion flower, which produces flowers that smell like of rotting flesh, my raven ZZ plant, which grows jet black leaves, and my crown of thorns, which is a desert bush that has flowers and poisonous spikes. It's magnificent. If you notice here on the left, this is when I started development sketches for Asterope, the owl that flies in my YouTube intro. She's inspired by a twin star cluster within the Taurus constellation, and she's a sooty owl. And on the right here is my avatar Sona for the lonely named Becca Whitemarsh, inspired by the Magnus Archives. And I consider her as another OC of mine. Let me introduce you to another interesting OC of mine. This is Maximiliano Avice Ventura. He is a museum curator and a professor that lives in early 20th century New York City. I had an exciting webcomic idea for him, but I never got to do it, mainly because school got in the way. A couple of months ago, I went to an isolated trip to Mono Lake, aka the middle of absolute nowhere, and I was really inspired by cryptic art and media such as the Magnus Archives or Gravity Falls, so I wanted to make some really spooky things, especially when I went to a ghost town called Bodie, which had preserved houses and buildings from the earliest 19th century that still contained all of the owner's original possessions, which was really creepy and cool. There's not much in this spread, but I took a Skillshare class with Daniela Crissa, and she said this quote that really resonated with me. When you keep jealousy inside, it becomes toxic. But if you can say it out loud in a positive way, you can turn it into admiration. It's a good thing to remind myself once in a while. On the right here are some rubber stamp ideas. I actually eventually carved these out, and they turned out really, really well. I don't have a stamp or a picture of the red one for some reason, but trust me, it looks really excellent, and it's great for letters. This is fan art of Regis from The Witcher 3. I think he's my favorite vampire ever, and if not, my most favorite fictional character ever. Him and I are almost the exact same person, and remember that good owl drawing at the beginning? That's just Regis, but in owl form. I don't think I've ever found a fictional character that I resonated with so much. I don't know, does anyone else have a character that they resonate so much with? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, on the right are just some hand studies in a style that I really like. Another really empty page, but at this point of time, I was starting to plan my YouTube channel, and this was when I was starting to draft out the ideas for my YouTube intro, where Asterope would be flying into the screen. I took the time to watch so many owl documentaries in order to study and understand the flight patterns of barn owls. So this was very cool and very educational. I highly recommend it if you're ever animating for something to watch references first. And of course, wouldn't you know, surprise, surprise, more owl studies to the right. I am quite sure that I can confidently say that I have gotten so much better at drawing owls now. It comes to me very naturally. So as one sane person would do, I went ahead and drew some more. I also realized that I'd rather prefer full-page illustrations than rather random miscellaneous objects and things in one page. They were more enjoyable to draw and took less time. But here, I was having a lazy day with this spread. On the right is my Dragon Age Inquisitor named Elijah. As I became lazier and lazier, I decided to do some value studies with just a simple blue pencil without any graphite. Here are some landscape studies in different orientations, and I think they came out very nice. It was really good practice, and it was nice not to be stressed out about drawing it in pencil. Studies are really quite relaxing, so I decided to do some more, but with spookier elements because it was around this time, October, and I really wanted to get into the mood. So I found some really strange and creepy photos. That is totally not a reference to the owl house, by the way, with my owl Asterope. And again, also if you're from Instagram, you can notice that this is Illusion, and this is actually his redesign. I decided to redesign his outfit. Hopefully I will fully digitize that in the future. At this point at the sketchbook, we're almost near at the end, and I was just trying to finish it. So on the left, I did some little bitty fan art of Julia from Carmen Sandiego, and on the right, I did some anatomical studies of elves from Dragon Age. Now it's time for the unofficial official list of all the OCs that I currently use. On the left here is Venice. This is, I guess, his official design. And on the right here is Asterope. I absolutely love how her illustrations came out. I think how the way that the lines move and flow around are just so beautiful, and they leave me in a really awestruck mood. I can definitely say that my confidence in line work has improved. Up next, we have Becca Whitemarsh on the left, and she has become my self-insert OC / alter ego rather than an avatar Sona. She embodies a lot of the negative characteristics that I don't like about myself. And here is Maximiliano in a very minimalistic but very beautiful Victorian-esque horror gothic frame. I love how I did those hands, and it's totally not a Leyen Decker study. I really liked this frame concept that I did, so I did one for Amihan, and I have this as an Instagram reel. It's the only Instagram reel that I have, so you should definitely check that out. And on the right over here is one of my oldest OCs. Her name is Ray, and she is a character that I created in Skyrim. And of course, she's a mage, because why not? If you've come this far in the sketchbook tour, thank you so much. I am so grateful. This is the final spread of the sketchbook. On the left is my Inquisitor Elijah, and what I would imagine her to look like in Dragon Age 4 or Dreadwolf. And on the right here, Happy Halloween! This is Illusion's Halloween costume for 2020. He is a fabulous Victorian ghost. Once again, I want to thank you for everyone who has taken their time to watch this. You mean so much to me, and I cannot wait to share you all of the ideas I have.